Okay, so now we have something interesting. Here's what we're going to be doing. Mailbag mock trades. So you are going to be sending us, because we've seen this before now. People have been sending in their trades, and it gave me the idea that we should be doing trades every week. It'll kind of be like we'll pit two guys against each other, and Vince will give us their value. Who would he trade? Who would he trade for who? And so I have one, and then we got a couple emailed in, and you can email them to us. You can just email the show, or you can write them, leave them on YouTube or wherever in the comments, and ask whatever questions you have. And this way we can answer them on the next episode. We can answer your trade questions. So here we go. The first one is from Matt. He says O'Neal Cruz or Christopher Morel, two guys that one of them you talked about earlier. We talked about earlier with Christopher Morel. Which one the rest of the way? If you are an O'Neal Cruz owner, are you making that trade for Christopher Morel and vice versa?
So, yeah, I think if you're an O'Neal Cruz owner, if you can trade for a guy like Christopher Morel, and because here's the thing, O'Neal Cruz is thought of as a top, 75, top 50 guy. I don't think Christopher Morel is all that different from O'Neal Cruz. I really don't. And especially like I mentioned earlier,
You're really way
Morel,
too high on him.
I will see. Morel's got more home runs, right? I think O'Neal Cruz has a few more stolen bases, and his average looks a little better for now. But again, underlying stuff says Morel's going to get better and better. And I don't understand why it's a huge gap. So my thought is if you can get Morel plus another piece, whether you need a pitcher, a bullpen arm, or pair O'Neal Cruz and get something bigger, I wouldn't be that far away from that. I'm saying I don't know if I would do a straight up 1-for-1. It's still probably leading O'Neal Cruz, but
I would say so.
certainly if you can get Morel plus a little something extra, you got to at least consider it.
All right. The next one is from Jackson. He says he wants to trade Cody Bellinger, who we know has been hurt. I know, obviously, he's my team. And he wants to potentially trade him for Marcell Ozuna from the Braves. I'll always call him Ozuna from the Braves. You know the video, right? You know the reference? No?
No.
Oh, they when he got arrested, that like the whatever the cop camera video came out, like the what do they wear? Like
sure. Like the
their
video,
dash cam, whatever.
right?
And he's like, you know who I am? I'm Ozuna from the Braves. I'm Ozuna from the Braves. And just came off as
Mhm.
such like a douchey move. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know. It was the
sure.
worst. Anyway, so Ozuna from the Braves or Cody Bellinger. Would you trade for Ozuna if you have Cody Bellinger?
So this is an interesting one, right? If I have Cody Bellinger, and this is kind of similar to the O'Neal Cruz stuff, I think Ozuna is massively underrated. Ozuna is right now the only guy on the Braves who's hitting, and obviously as a Cubs fan and watching Cody Bellinger every day, I'm a big Cody Bellinger fan. I think I don't necessarily think what he did last year was a total fluke. I think he's a great hitter, but if I wouldn't do a straight up. I'd lean Bellinger in a straight up trade, but it's really not that far off. Ozuna is going to deliver some terrific counting stats as the Braves, because again, the Braves haven't been the Atlanta Braves offense that we've been expecting.
Mm-hmm.
As that offense picks it up,
They
his
will.
numbers are just going to look gaudy. And
Guess who's not hitting 54 home runs this year?
well, we knew he wasn't going to hit
Oh
54 home runs this year.
no.
When
Matt,
did I say he was going to hit 54?
no, you said this is who he is. This is who he's going to be. No, I'm gonna pull up the receipts
Pull up
because
the receipt for that one.
Matt Olson, 35 home run guy, maybe that's what he's been.
His last 3 games, 2 for 4, 2 for 3, 1 for 4 with a home run, 4 RBIs, heating up. Maybe we'll see. I don't
Still not hitting
know.
54 home runs.
Is Pete Alonso?
Hey, Pete Alonso's been struggling. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
Okay. I was gonna say you
But
said
have
what,
they been
50?
that? But have they been like $20 apart in auction value?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Yeah. So yeah, I lean Bellinger, but if you can get a good second piece, Ozuna.
Okay. I have Alec Bohm,
Okay,
and he's been arguably one of the best hitters in baseball, though he's cooled off the last like week or so.
sure.
Do I trade him? I'm scared to trade him. I really think like this is a guy coming into his own and he's really good. And the reason I picked him, and it's also kind of like a selfish thing where like I was high on him in the offseason. I was high on him coming into the year. Like I'm happy to be right on him. Like he's one of my guys. There's always those plant your flag guys. And now I have him and he's actually paying off. But somebody offered me Alex Bregman for him. Bregman has the track record of just being great. And you know that offense is going to pick it up. Like I I don't know how I say no to that trade. And yet I kind of feel like I want to say no.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you said no. It's a really close one because actually, I mean, when I look at Alec Bohm's underlying stuff, it looks pretty good, and it looks a lot better than Bregman's. Does that mean it's going to stick? I'm not 100% sure. I do think that Bohm's got plenty of potential, and I think we're starting to see that potential blossom. He's 27, so but again, I feel like this is why I put Bregman as a buy low. I almost feel like if he sent that trade, you could maybe get another second piece, and then we're talking, right? Again, depending on what your needs are, maybe you throw, make it a 2 for 2. That way you can get some good value back. I certainly think Bregman
I
is
need home runs, and that's where Bohm hurts me, right?
sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, boom with
And
four
Bregman could
bombs,
help me
but
there.
Bregman again, yeah, but Bregman doesn't have many so far this. So I think whoever sent that, right, they're probably thinking, oh well, they're going to buy the name, and you kind of are, but at the same time you're going to buy a guy who, look, I think this is Bregman's floor. Like this is like everything has bottomed out. I think there's nowhere to go but up. And even if
And he could be
he
a trade candidate if
Mhm.
they continue to bottom out.
Yeah, they did say though, the Astros GM did say that there's really no world in which they're selling at the deadline. They did come out and say that. So
Okay. This is my favorite line ever.
sure.
I say this
What
all
do
the
you got?
time.
Yeah.
You know who never has to say blank is not getting traded? Guys who aren't getting traded. When guys aren't getting traded, you never have to say it. It's only ever said we're not trading X about guys who end up being traded.
So you think Bregman's going to get traded?
That doesn't mean they're guaranteed to be traded, but it's never said about someone who's like for sure not being traded. You know what I mean? Like the Yankees don't have to come out tomorrow and say we're not trading Aaron Judge. But if they
Right.
came out and said we're not looking to move Gleyber Torres, it's like, yeah, because they might actually look to move Gleyber Torres.
Well, I think it was just him responding to. I think it was just him responding to a question, and
and you only the only had if somebody asked the Yankees, "Are you looking to trade Aaron Judge?" They wouldn't acknowledge it with a response. That's my
well,
point.
it's
And
more
if
of
you're
like,
acknowledging it with a response, it means that it's at least being considered. That's all.
sure, yeah, yeah, that's fair. And you look at it now. I mean, Houston's only 6 games back from Seattle in first place.
And
It's
that's the
really not.
problem. MLB's trade deadline is so early. Who knows if anyone gets traded, right? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trade deadline is so early, and there's so many teams making the playoffs these days, and the league hasn't adjusted yet. So I don't know if anyone's getting traded.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw a lot of teams last year. Like, who was a buyer that shouldn't have been? Oh yeah, the Angels, right? The Angels were buyers, and everyone was like, "What the hell are you doing? You guys are terrible." And they tried, right? They
Well,
tried
I'll
to make
tell
it
you
work.
why, because they figured, hey, let's get Otani and Trout into a playoff series and roll the dice, see what happens. It's the last time we're going to have that.
Yeah,
Didn't work,
yeah,
but it was the right move.
yeah. I don't
They
blame them
probably
for
should
that,
have
right? But
traded Otani at the deadline. They
we see that all
probably,
the time. Yeah, right. They could have
like,
gotten.
what kind of offer would that have been for a half a season of Shohei Otani? And also,
And
because think about it, let's say you're the Yankees and you're like, man, we're never going to get Prime off of the West Coast in free agency. But if we get him in here for the
bring
next
them
two
over there.
months
Yeah.
and we show him how great New York is, whatever, it's,
I mean, they did trade away quite a bit for Juan Soto, right? Michael King's been phenomenal in San Diego.
yeah, but it's also been a full year, and the Yankees were bad last year. So, like,
Yeah.
Michael King had a terrible start tonight, by the way.
Did he? Oh, I missed it.